Okay, hi guys. So let me just minimize. Okay, this is our Mount Martha courtyard house. It's located in the back streets of Old Mount Martha, and it's on the Port Phillip Bay Mornington Peninsula. So the site feels like a real country property. It's got an unmade road and it's surrounded by nature. There's no view of the bay, but it's within walking distance to the beach, so it's got the best of both worlds. So we were briefed to create a simple, low-maintenance, multi-generational private family retreat. Clients always referencing Heidi Tu and McClellan Gallery. The main drive for the clients was to have a house that was surrounded by nature with two distinct zones, one for privacy and one for entertaining. So the site's a trapezium. Its rear was consumed by an old tennis court and rainwater tanks. We began by pushing the new building off to the site, off to the southern boundary, and squeezing it between the tanks and the tennis court to ensure the rest of the site was kept open to achieve and maintain expansiveness. The site's 2,600 square metres, but feels really large because we've pushed the building right to the side. During construction, they decided to remove the tennis court and just created this great, amazing green lush garden, which is full of Indigenous plants. The plan is triangular. So it sits around a central courtyard. The building is separated into three zones: entertaining, kids, and grandparents. It was important to the clients to shield the spaces away from the street and maintain and maximise their privacy. There's a lot of walking around the area. It was important to create a solid wall to address the street front. Council really wanted us to kind of hide the house completely. And over time now the garden is starting to grow. It's really hard to see what's going on behind it, which is really nice. So this main wall that addresses the street conceals the bulk of the home. And the site has two entries, essentially a private one and a public one. The private is through the street to the car park, and the pedestrian access is the private through the split in the wall. So as you approach the split in the wall, there's an opening with two black walls and it reveals a covered entry. Beyond the wall lies the main volumes of the living and the private zones, all wrapping around this landscape central courtyard. All spaces have full height windows and frame the views beautifully. The entry brings you into the living space with one large volume for entertaining, and the courtyard creates this privacy for the ever-changing elements that protects you. The glass breezeway separates the living from the main retreat with a separate pod, and the glass corridor that backs onto the carport connects to the kids' wing. So let's walk through the building. We've got the main entrance from the street frontage, which is now really covered up with more trees, and it really conceals everything else from the street, as you can see. This is the public entry where the wall peels away and allows access into this private covered courtyard and a concealed door which blends into the wall. So the house sits in the landscape really nicely, and as time goes on, the landscape hides it more and more. But what we've tried to do is use full height glazing to break the bulk and a lot of louvers to kind of dot around the building and really open it up. The entertaining zone, you enter through there, and it's layers and layers of glass that open up into the courtyard so that it feels like a through and through. The triangular shape allows the light to penetrate into all the different areas of the building. And so in the area, the change in temperature is quite phenomenal. The morning can be boiling hot and the afternoon can be colder, vice versa. So the louvers really, once you open it up, the sea breeze really cools the house down within minutes. The block work has thermal mass, and the high performance double glazing really maintains the internal temperature in winter. And the visual bulk is really broken, as you can see by the glass, showing the connection between the public and the private zone. So it feels not like a huge house, but yeah, really small and cozy and connected. The breezeway allows eastern light and northern light throughout the day, and the layers of glazing keep the house feeling really transparent and reflecting nature. The glazing creates mirror-like effects, as you can see over there in the corner in the master retreat area. So this is part of the kids wing, which shows that we've borrowed views into the main garden space, and it really feels very transparent and expansive. The continuous light penetrates into the kids zone. And this is the courtyard, which shows how much privacy you get from the rest of the garden. It's really its own room. So this borrowed space is a space of connectivity and safety. The pergola and the central courtyard really have a beautiful play of shadow and light, and creates protection from all the elements. We've used timber ceilings to define all the public zones, and each room is flooded with natural light. The building palette is pared back, timber, block and glass, and the interior materials and colours are really simplified, mimicking nature. There's a palette of blue and green and timber lining, which references nature and brings in all the biophilic principles. Heated concrete floors really create a heat bank and just maintains coolness during summer as well. We used sustainable principles. We love to use skylights, so we've dotted them throughout the building. And we've used excessive insulation, solar panels, hydronic heating, ceiling fans, stormwater collection, motorised blinds, skylights, and excessive natural light, as you can see. The building slowly reveals itself as an exploration of the courtyard and garden. Each room has its own very special view with newly planted landscape. We'll watch it all progress and grow and kind of nestle into its site, the building. The private retreat is secluded enough to have and allow for a fully glazed shower experience. This is what the client pushed for. We really pushed ourselves for low cost interior materials and fittings and low maintenance external materials, given its location and proximity to the bay. So the design intent was for a versatile and sensitive site intervention, and the openness to the surrounding landscape and enclosed elements offer a real haven of privacy and sanctuary.
1 minute remaining.
Thanks.